Welcome to another Ramblings of a Madman video. In this one, on a more positive note, I'll share what are my top 3 anticipated games from all the ones announced at the Game Awards 2024. I've watched most trailers that interested me to some degree and the reactions are on Patreon and Subscribestar. First, I need to explain to people about Elden Ring Night Rain not being on the list. Outside Night Rain there have been many co-op and online games announced, which don't interest me at all. Nothing to do with the games themselves, it's just that I for some reason have zero interest in any sort of multiplayer, even co-op. Couple long-time viewers asked me to play games with them and I always rejected. Except for that one time when we played Divinity Original Sin 4-player co-op live on stream. It was interesting to say the least and I've enjoyed it to an extent, but an absolute mess to manage. This is nothing personal against any of you, and nothing against any specific games, but it's my general subjective hate for multiplayer. Before, I've played multiplayer games a lot, like Lord of the Rings Online and Dota 2 among many others, but can't anymore. Just don't want to under any circumstance. Maybe that outlook changes over time. If it does, I'll let you know, but until then don't expect any play sessions and multiplayer games on any of the lists. I'm just not into it. Back to the Elden Ring, you list-loving bastards. Looks really good, I gotta say. Seems like Night Rain is gonna feature some old From Software bosses in a Monster Hunter type game, I guess? Or is it more of a Fortnite type thing? Don't know. Seems like combat has been polished and sped up in Night Rain compared to Elden Ring, and it seems fantastic. Of course, it's a trailer and believing trailers is like believing politicians. Nothing good comes out of it. Though I can't fault people that are excited for this. In such a game, From Software doesn't have to focus on story, lore and world, so they can go all out with combat. If the combat ends up being polished to the highest degree and those stupid old finish and backstab animations replaced, then I might even try it out eventually. Either way, now you know why Night Rain and similar multiplayer oriented games are not on the list. Let's move to number 3 that also has the best crafted trailer from the Game Awards in my opinion, and that is Outer Worlds 2. I've played the first game and covered it on the channel. Game was okay, nothing special. Seemed like a light version of New Vegas set in space. It needed much more in every department to be considered great. Very weird from Obsidian to create such a superficial RPG. So upon watching Outer Worlds 2 trailer, I've noticed probably the biggest thing that Outer Worlds needs, and that is more of the bloody game. Weapons look cool as heck, with combat in general having that appealing focus on destruction variety. Looks incredibly fun. Unfortunately no blood and gore from what I've seen, which is a big minus, but alright. My major concern is this: is the game just gonna be bigger, or it is going to be bigger and deeper? What I mean by that is if the systems are gonna be more complex to cater the role-playing element. Outer Worlds was very basic in terms of character progression from what I remember, so deeper and better system would go a long way in creating an amazing first-person RPG. Overall, more significant interactions with meaningful decision making, more ways to finish quests with strange and ridiculous results, and similar things. Seems like Obsidian have listened to fans and decided to take Outer Worlds to the next level, and I'm all for it. At number 2 we have Solasta 2. I really enjoyed the original with its fantastic combat system and mostly good writing. It was one of those games that didn't have anything bad in particular except the presentation, but it's a CRPG so it's fine. Needed lots of little things though, like more classes and races and many small fixable things. To see Solasta 2 looking like in the trailer makes me happy because it's gonna take the series to a new level and I'm in for the ride. Everything we see in the trailer just looks and seems to play better. It's a similar situation to Outer Worlds, a game that needs more of itself. Not by just prolonging the game artificially, but to do it with deeper systems in place that could offer more dynamic things to do outside and inside combat. Deeper systems lead to more engaging RPGs as well. Problem is that Solasta uses 5th edition D&D rule set that is quite limiting in itself when it comes to character progression customization, but we'll see how they utilize it. Rule set limitations can be offset by adding more classes and races with unique things on them. There was something about Solasta, if you played it you know, simple but very fun to play. Not to mention a brilliant dungeon maker where players can create and share their own created locations with unique challenges added. Basically infinite replayability with the dungeon maker. Solasta 1 served as a starter game from a small studio and it was a success without a doubt. Let's see how far Solasta 2 can take the series. My number 1 is Onimusha Way of the Sword. Hell yeah, Onimusha is one of those games that I played as a kid and loved it. It was a unique type of a game with Resident Evil style movement but focused on melee combat against demons. Very weird combination that for some reason worked. Can't remember how good the writing was, but I remember Jean Reno in Onimusha 3. I always liked him as an actor, so it was cool to see him in a game as a proper character. Can't recall if he was playable though. Doesn't matter. Why am I excited for the reboot of Onimusha? Well, I haven't played it in ages, and after seeing how outdated the gameplay is from that age while playing Soul River Remastered, which is to be expected for 3D games to not age well, something like Onimusha with clunky Resident Evil character control style would be a disaster today. So if they could retain the feeling of the game with much updated gameplay, leave the adventuring elements and the story-driven progression, Onimusha could be a big surprise. Only problem is that Capcom is behind it, and they find ways to screw up stuff and over-monetize at the same time. We didn't see much from the trailer, but what I've seen is enough to get me excited. The brutality, blood and gore at the forefront. Watching the main character brutally destroying enemies by stabbing them in the torso with a very cool finishing animation, cutting them in half, using grab moves, well-animated parries, and finishing off with a nice slash after climbing the back of the enemy was so satisfying. I really want to see proper gameplay to see how the character moves and enemies respond. If they nail heavy combat in every aspect, it's gonna be awesome. Kill satisfaction seems to be on a very high level and I love seeing that. More games need to work on kill satisfaction with added blood and gore. So Onimusha. Maybe we will see Tenchu sometime soon. I honestly didn't even think about Onimusha forever, so seeing it got me more excited than I thought it would. Especially after the trailer. Gonna be interesting to see the final product. Anyway, those were my top 3 games from TGA 2024. What are yours? Check the description for Patreon, subscribe, start merch, blah blah blah, and thanks for watching.